Now we're going to US, over to US for the Democrats. So they're gathering in Chicago already. That's in preparation for tomorrow's national convention, which kicks off there. The Clintons, Barack Obama are among the political heavyweights expected to give speeches before Kamala Harris accepts the party's nomination on Thursday. Now, there's one man that won't be there, but he'll be on people's minds.
People say, be nice. Have you heard her laugh? That is the laugh of a crazy person. That is the laugh of a crazy. It's the laugh of a lunatic. Have you heard it? You know, they prohibited her. They prohibited her for laughing. I've been waiting for her to laugh because as soon as she laughs, the election's over. But we're winning by a lot in Pennsylvania. I think the fracking got her. The fracking got her. I'm a better looking person than Kamala. No, I couldn't believe it. She said, I had never heard that one. They said, no, her biggest advantage is that she's a beautiful woman. I'm going, I never thought of that.
No, he doesn't ramble. That's, of course, former President Donald Trump speaking at a rally in Pennsylvania yesterday. Now, let's speak now to Shannon Felton Spence, political and communication strategist at Harvard University's Belfer Center. Shannon, thanks for giving us your time. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Just let's spend minimal time on Donald Trump there, but he gave a speech yesterday. It was meant to be his speech of getting back on track with the Republican messaging, focusing on the economy. How well do you think he did?
Donald Trump has sort of lost his grip on what's going on, right? I think he has been preparing for 4 years to run again against Joe Biden. That's a candidate that he knows, that he squarely hit right in the nose during the debate. And it worked remarkably well because Joe Biden is no longer the candidate. And now he does not know which way to hit Kamala Harris. He can't find his feet in this race. And so in essence, what he has done is go back to the old Trumpisms, which worked in 2016, and that is sort of schoolyard bullying, name calling. He's just looking a little unhinged. This is a very different world than it was in 2016, and I guess we'll have to see if the old playbook works, but it doesn't feel like it is working in the same way it did almost a decade ago against Hilary Clinton.
Now, the DNC is about to begin with some very positive news coming out of the polling industry. I'm just looking at an ABC News poll that's come out today. It has Harris up by 6 over Trump. And among independents, it's moved from Trump being up by 4 to Harris being up by 11. Is there a danger, perhaps, that the Democrats feel that just by changing their candidate, they've done all they need to just secure that presidency?
Absolutely, there is. If I was advising the Democrats, which I am not, I would say, don't get cocky. It seems like it's a short campaign. It is in terms of, American history, but it's actually a long way to go. And in the age of the internet, any sort of slip up can live forever and really tank a candidate. So they need to be very smooth. They need to be very calculated. They need to be very measured and disciplined. So far, this enthusiasm has definitely shown that Biden made the right decision for the party by stepping away from the ticket, because so many people were fed up with these two choices that just having two new faces on the ticket has garnered so much attention and so much enthusiasm. They also have switched their messaging to be more positive and less sort of idyllic, a democracy on the ticket and scary. And that's also had a huge effect. But there is many, many days to go, many weeks to go, and they absolutely could slip up. This is a very tight race. It's going to come down to 1 or 2% making a difference for the White House.
Shannon, what do you expect to be announced this week? We know we're going to get President Biden speaking on Monday. Barack Obama, I think, is speaking on Tuesday. Vice President nominee Tim Walz on Wednesday, and finally Kamala Harris is going to take to the stage. Are we going to hear any policy coming out of the Democrats? Because that's been the big criticism. Everyone said, look, it's all very well, it's all very happy, all very positive. There's enormous amount of enthusiasm and euphoria, but at some point, some policy will have to be put forward. People need to know what a Kamala Harris presidency will be focusing on.
Yeah, so I have a couple things to say to this. First, I think that that criticism has been squarely heard. In the last several days, they have unveiled an economic plan and some economic policies that they will definitely be touting out throughout the week. But what I'm looking for is that largely this ticket has only talked about domestic policies. They have squarely focused on the economy. And one of the reasons is because that's top of mind for voters, and the economy is what drives people to the voting booth. But what we haven't heard is foreign policy. And, foreign policy tends to dominate the headlines and really sucks up a lot of air of the news. And we haven't really heard anything from Harris or Waltz on foreign policy. And so it will be very interesting, to hear what they have to say on that. That has been a main talking point of Trump and Vance in terms of Ukraine and the war in Gaza. And so it will be very interesting to see what they have to say on that. And one more thing, just to add with maybe a little razzle dazzle. The DNC tends to bring out some big celebrities. And as you may know, an op-ed in the New York Times from George Clooney is one of the things that sort of tipped the scale against Joe Biden in the last month to remove himself from the ticket. And so I think we might be in for some surprise guest appearances from some sparkly celebrities, which is always kind of fun.
Have you heard any rumors, Shannon?
Everybody's talking about Beyonce. They're using her song as their main campaign anthem. But wow, wouldn't it be great if we saw Taylor Swift?
Well, I mean, do you think things like that make a big difference with the American public? Seriously, when it comes down to it.
They do. It's silly, but they do. And one of the reasons is because fandoms are so locked in, but also it has to do with sort of social media presence, right? They have this amazing megaphone and this amplification ability to get messages out. So yes, is it I'm going to vote because Beyonce is voting for Kamala Harris? Maybe there's probably a portion of that, but it's also that Beyonce is the means in which the message can be delivered to probably somewhere between 100 and 150 million followers.
Now, getting a little bit more sort of microscopic in the what's going to happen at the DNC, a lot of eyes are going to be on that relationship between Barack Obama and Joe Biden. A lot of people sort of saying that the relationship between the two may not be what it used to be. Do you think we're going to see any sort of reconciliation between the two camps, or is that going to be all swept under the carpet because of the current euphoria surrounding Kamala Harris?
So those in the political know will tell you that the relationship between President Obama and President Biden has never been, quote, what it was. It's never been the most warm and friendly relationship, although Barack Obama has immense respect for President Biden and President Biden has immense respect for President Obama. So, it's always been a little bit of a tougher dynamic, I think. But no, they're going to roll out the razzle dazzle for President Biden. He did the right thing ultimately for the party. No matter what the dynamics were behind the scenes, we're not going to have any sense of that. Monday night is definitely going to be a thank you, Biden, and give him a hero's exit, in which, he probably deserves. Given the enthusiasm that we are now seeing around this new ticket, it is very clear that he made the right decision. And President Obama will play along with that.
Shannon, thank you for your time. Pleasure to speak to you.
Thank you.
Shannon Felton Spence, political and communication strategist at Harvard University's Belfleur Center.